sorry, I don't know what you're seeing. My desktop. Oh, my desktop's being recorded. Okay, right. Let's. Hopefully you are watching this. Maybe not. Okay. So now we're gonna go through each of these docs. Again, they're like little tiny excerpts so that you're not carrying around 7 different books. And I don't know. Here, I'll just do that. Okay. So let's look at A and get something to like highlight or whatever. Okay. So if you use A, are we ready? You guys ready? I'm ready. You ready? Yes. Okay. Sam, you ready? Okay, because we're going to turn this way because we're going to highlight certain things that are important. I've already done all the work for you. Look at that. Okay. See? All right, so document A. Document A, we've looked at this before. I want you to highlight that part up there with the civilization. Circle that. This is an example here of social Darwinism. And they're bringing, like literally the burden of bringing people to civilization. When you have a doc, you could use it for a pro paper or a con paper. So you could use this political cartoon as evidence that America's doing awesome things for other countries because we are saving them from their barbarism and their vice and their being less developed, and we're bringing them to civilization. We're bringing them to democracy. But you can also read into this one and say, wow, that is super racist, U.S., just totally yucky in the way you treated people, and use that as added evidence in your paper. Okay, good with that one? Okay, next one. So I already did some skim reading of B. B is definitely a go get 'em, hooray for America. Maybe put a little star by B, like, woo, yay, go America. Because what's in there that is awesome is the second line down where it says that we are going to help.
Yours is different than ours.
Document?
Yeah, we don't have
Yeah,
that.
document 2.
And it's not the same as the. Yeah.
Oh!
Is it not?
All right. Sorry, we're back. We got the right one. So we already went through one. Same one. My bad. Okay, now we're at number 2. Now, number 2, highlight, hooray! Yes, that's a good one for the United States being awesome, bringing democracy. And what's good in there is I would highlight authority from the consent of the governed. Highlight that phrase right there. That means that we're bringing democracy, the consent of the governed. We're bringing people in. I also would highlight down here. Oh, it's in the second line. In the second line, it says consent of the governed. Okay, and I would highlight, I don't know, what are we doing here? That I would highlight that second line. Okay, I would also highlight the people of the Philippines. So find second from the bottom, Philippines. And highlight there that we are bringing a civilizing government to the Philippines. Isn't that awesome? We're so awesome, okay? Because, and I would keep going, they had the savage, bloody rule of Spain. So we're bringing something better. Now, you don't have to use this doc. I'm just giving you what I think is tasty in the docs. Okay? This is, in other words, the Philippines are better off because we came to help. Turn the page. Next one in document 3. In document 3, this one is the Platt Amendment. This one also is a good hooray for Cuba because we saved you. It's the legalese, it's the legal document of that going forward, we are going to be Cuba's little buddy. So I think that's important in here is about the third line down, highlight independence of Cuba. Independence of Cuba. And in this document, I would keep going that we are going to defend Cuba, and it's actually spelled out right down here. The U.S. gets to intervene in the preservation of Cuban independence. So again, the United States down here gets to intervene in the preservation of Cuban independence. Now, again, this could be argued either way. You could be like, aren't we so awesome giving independence to Cuba? Look at us. Go US, go US. But you could also say, how, you are really not giving them full independence because you're still controlling them like a puppet, that they don't have full sovereignty. So you could argue that against the United States too. Okay, come down. So that one could be argued pro or con. So for number 3, you could write pro or con off to the side. And if that one is too wordy and doesn't make sense to you, again, use the docs that make sense to you. But I tried to go through them first for you. Okay, document 4. Off to the side of document 4, I would write down double standard. Double standard. Professor William Sumner in 1898 is really bagging, he is dissing the United States in this. He's saying, who do we think we are going in and bringing liberty, and then we don't even treat people fairly? So about halfway down where it says the word liberty, right here, liberty, of which America talks so much about, we are not letting them live their lives their own way. Next line down. So we say that we want to give liberty and equality, and then we turn around and control people. Yeah. So again, about third line down, it says liberty, and then that line says of which America talks so much. Yeah, we talk a good talk about liberty, but then we turn around, and that next line, we are not letting them live their own lives. So that's a pretty harsh boo, United States. Now, how could we turn that around? I guess if you were writing an essay that we needed to help civilize countries, you could still use document 4 that we're having to go in and still control them to help them be better. Okay. Document 5. Okay. This one, let's look and see who wrote this little snippet. Oh, the Anti-Imperialist League. Well, this clearly is going to be a negative. Boo to imperialism. They don't like us. Well, how do we know that they don't like us? If you look in the third line down, they said we are slaughtering Filipinos. So you should highlight that third line down, slaughtering Filipinos. That sounds pretty harsh. You could maybe make a case that we're not slaughtering Filipinos. We are getting the dissidents. We're getting the rebels and rounding them up. And in that next line down, where it says American sovereignty by Spanish methods, it says that we're just like the Spanish. We're controlling them just like the Spanish. And that very last word down here at the bottom, despot, that means we're a dictator. Well, boo to the Anti-Imperialist League. Maybe we're not doing that. Maybe we're saving the Filipinos. We're not being a dictator. Okay, go to the next. Political cartoon. There's a political cartoon here where this one's about Hawaii. And we are annexing Hawaii. So off to the side, you would write annex, A-N-N-E-X. We are annexing Hawaii. And again, you could argue this either way. You could argue that Hawaii, she doesn't look very stoked to be marrying Uncle Sam at a forced wedding. But you could also interpret this differently. You could say, well, she's such a savage. It's a good thing we're getting those Hawaiians under our control. You can clearly see, because of the general back behind here, that she needs control because she's a savage. So you could argue this either way. It probably is anti-US, but again, if you're looking for a document that's pro-US, you could use that. Okay, next one. So far, I've been giving you kind of some negative, but thank goodness there's Theodore Roosevelt here in document 7 to go, hooray for the United States. We're doing awesome things. And he's going to show you right here in the second line where he says, all that this country desires to see are stable, orderly, prosperous nations. We are bringing stability, order, prosperity. You cannot argue with that. Go America. That's so awesome. We are the police of the world. And down here, he says that we're reluctant to go against the Monroe Doctrine, but we are an international police power. That phrase should be in your paper because that's awesome. You didn't say it. Teddy Roosevelt said it, but it's going to give added oomph to your paper. Woo, we are the international police power. And when you use a doc, you say, well, who said that? Well, who said that? Theodore Roosevelt said that in the annual messages to Congress in December 6, 1904. So you give the citation in your paper. Moving on. Document 8. Oh my God, there's so many documents. Well, it says right at the top of your paper here, because again, I don't even know if this is filming, that you have to use half in a paper to pass. Eventually, by the time it's May, you're going to use them all. I will get you so good at writing that you're going to use every single document and you'll be able to use them well. But for right now, baby steps, you need at least half. So let's quickly count. Well, how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What's half of 9? 4.5. So you need 4 or 5. 4 or 5 in your paper, in your poster. Okay, which one am I on? I'm on 8. Okay, 8 is another hooray for the United States. Yay! The Foraker Amendment, if we look down at the bottom here, is about how we're going to control Puerto Rico. And we are going to control Puerto Rico, and I would put right here that they were Spanish subjects, so highlight. You could even highlight the Puerto Rico to remember this is about Puerto Rico. They were Spanish subjects that need, look at this last line here, protection of the United States. They need our protection. Why? I don't know, because they're brown, because they were running around like farmers, because they were rebels, because they need our civilization. And furthermore, down here, we talk about how, second line, there's going to be 2 houses, and with that we mean legislative houses, where the United States, in that line, it says the President of the United States is going to control Puerto Rico, because they need our control. But again, you could argue against the United States with this. 100 years later, we still control Puerto Rico. They still don't have independence. They're our colony. Like, are we ever going to let them be free? That could be an argument against the United States because we're far beyond, I hope, the racism that was 100 years ago. Okay, that's the Foraker Act, that we can still control their government. Okay, last document here is about the Philippines. So highlight this first line. The Philippines are enormously rich with valuable timber. They also have metal, and the next line, they've got sugar. They've got tons of resources. So this is a reason that we're going and getting them. That is a go US, but it also could be a no US. It could be like, oh, you're so greedy taking over their stuff. Had we not stripped out the Philippines, maybe their government would be stronger now. So these are all about the resources. And then I do not like that line, but I'm going to highlight it. In the next paragraph, it says it is infested by Filipinos. Well, that's yucky. That's like clearly our racism and the way that we're viewing people who are brown. But again, also highlights social Darwinism and the need for people to be in our control. And we even acknowledge it in this paragraph that, oh, I know it seems harsh, which is that last line there. It seems harsh, but they must yield before the superior race. And if you were to quote that, the San Francisco Argonaut, May 6, 1902. Okay, now, going over here, I'm just going to go like rogue over here to look at the posters. Okay, so with all this information, all this doc, all this stuff, you guys are going to make a poster. And if you're looking on with my silly little camera thing, sorry if it's not even showing over here, but you're going to make a poster that has the introduction with a mapping thesis, gotta have a concession in there, then somewhere on your poster, I hope near the top, I'm gonna see the concession. I'm gonna see the document that you use maybe to support your concession. Or maybe you've got a concession and you're not gonna use the document for that one. You're gonna use the document in your supporting arguments. But I wanna see what are some of the points that you're making with the notes. What is a document that supports that? Then comes the argument you're making. Were we awesome upholding liberty and equality? Woo, woo, woo. Or were we negative? And then I need to see 3 good reasons why, with details from your notes. It's a collaborative effort if you're working with a partner. Plus some of these old-timey historical documents to support your arguments. And then lastly is a conclusion. So it's kind of like a paper, but you're just not going in depth into the paragraphs. You're not actually typing it. You're making a poster so your arguments are super visual, and all around the room I've got some awesome exemplars. Okay, now I'm taking questions. As it.
I thought we weren't supposed to use docs in our concession.
In your thesis, you're not supposed to use docs, but in the concession paragraph, you might choose to use a doc there. That's all your body of your paper. So you can back up your concession with a document, but you don't have to. Maybe the rest of your documents come for your support paragraphs. Okay, other questions for me? How many people in a group? 2. Other questions? Do you have to have a partner? No. When is this due? Monday-ish, unless everybody's done by Friday. Yes, question, Captain.
I think that Puerto Rico is spelled P.
I know, they clearly didn't know how to spell back then. Porto. They didn't even spell it right. Right? I know, it should be Puerto. If they had actually bothered to learn the Spanish correctly, then it would have been spelled better.
So you want us to spell it Puerto?
No, spell it Puerto. P-U-E-R. It's in door. Yes, the rich door. Yes, go. Other questions that you have? Okay, I'm gonna shut this off so that I stop torturing people. Sorry, forgot about the T-chart. So before you get poster making supplies, you've got to show me your T-chart. Let's look at the T-chart together. The T-chart has the arguments you're gonna make, your mapping thesis, this is like a rough draft, and the little sketch of your paper.
Sorry, did I almost paper?
This is going to be due by Friday. It's a rough draft. Mostly it's just me checking your mapping thesis. Okay, any other questions for me? All right. Again, sorry, it's been so long since I've done a video. I know I'm a dork. Bye.